Hey there, folks. This here is Professor Bald Guy, and I'm coming to you from Central Virginia in the middle of a big rainstorm, which is appropriate because what I'd like to do is talk to you about water tonight. In particular, I'd like to talk about ocean water. And in particular, I'd like to talk about ocean water in the view of Marvelous Mo Brooks, who is a representative from Alabama, the great state of Alabama. Roll Tide, okay? Anyway, Mo Brooks apparently has this idea that the reason that the sea levels are rising has to do with the fact that rocks are falling into the ocean. Yeah, that's right. He thinks that the sea levels are rising because rocks are falling into the ocean. Look it up. Just go to Twitter or one of your social platforms and Google rocks falling, and you will find Marvelous Mo and his awesome theory. Okay, so this glass of water is really full, as you can see. See how full it is? That represents the oceans as they are today, okay? The oceans are full to the brim, all the way up. And what I mean by that is that they're not washing up into coastal cities too much yet, but they will if global climate change continues the way it is right now. However, in Mo Brooks's idea, the reason that they've risen as far as they have and will continue to rise is because rocks are falling into the ocean. Okay, so I have here a few rocks. Actually, let me get a number of rocks here to demonstrate Mo Brooks's awesome theory. So, oops, I just dropped a rock. All right, so here's a bunch of rocks, and here's the ocean. So here's what Mo's talking about. See how the ocean water is flooding out onto my counter? Oh, there's a little something floating in there. But the more of these that I put in there, the more the ocean rises, and the more it flows out onto my counter. So now all the people who have condos along the shore are underwater, which obviously sucks. So they're going to need some paper towels. So I've already included a couple of paper towels here to soak up some of this ocean water. Here, I got another one over here to kind of soak up some of this other ocean water. But obviously we don't really have gigantic cosmic paper towels to be able to do a job like that. So what are we going to do? Well, first of all, we need to talk to Mo Brooks, because apparently he actually went to college, and I'm not going to mention the ACC school named Blue Devils that he went to college at, because you would think that somebody with his stature as a representative of the United States of America from Alabama, he would actually have some basic understanding of physics, which in this case has to do with scale. Okay, so obviously if this glass represents the oceans of the world, and the water represents the water in the oceans of the world, and we put in gigantic rocks the size of the ones I put in there, we'd have a problem. But here's the situation. Here is the scale. See those rocks right there in the palm of my hand? Those are the rocks that he's talking about in terms of scale. Okay, you don't see them? Well, actually, I don't either, because there aren't actually any in there, because they'd have to be so freaking tiny you couldn't see them. So I'm going to dump those in. See, I'm dumping those right into the glass, and nothing's happening because nothing ever would happen based on all the rocks that all the little boys and girls around the world threw into the oceans since the year 1800 or 1700. I think what we need to do is explain to Mo Brooks that the only way to protect the oceans is to do something like this, which is, see this? Okay, I'm just going to protect the oceans of the world with that, and that'll keep all the rocks from falling into the ocean, small and large. And it will also protect us from having something come from freaking outer space like this. And God knows we don't need a gigantic ducky jumping in our oceans. So tell it to Mo Brooks. He's got another thing coming. This is Professor Bald Guy, and I'm out.